WPTV, West Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Fort Pierce. Now, live from your news leader, this is Action 5 News at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kimberly Godwin. Kelly Dunn is off today. Coming up in this half hour of Action News at noon, police identify the body of a Palm Beach Gardens woman following a fatal Christmas Eve accident. The sports world mourns the loss of a baseball hero, and a holiday movie preview on a Steven Spielberg love story. Always. But first, here are our top stories. It's the day after Christmas, and shoppers once again are rushing to stores in search of bargains and returning unwanted gifts. Retail stores say this day accounts for nearly half their annual profit. Joining us live now from the Boynton Beach Mall is Action 5 News reporter Tom Castanotis. And Tom, I suppose it's another busy day out there.
It sure is, Kimberly. I'm here at the Boynton Beach Mall, and you really can't tell that there's much of a difference between the day before Christmas and the day after. It's packed. Maybe you can see behind me the parking lot is about 3/4 full, and the merchants inside say they're glad to see the customers are back here. Now, the early indication here is that business for the Christmas shopping season was about what they expected. In comparison to last year, they say it may be down slightly. They're saying the difference is this year the customers didn't seem to have the money to buy those extra items.
People were not heavily, rushed to buy what they were looking for. I think they knew exactly what they wanted to purchase, and they came in, purchased, and went out.
Now, there may be a good note for the merchants of the customers coming in. We've been watching coming in today. Most of them are not carrying bags. They're not here to return items. Most of them are here buying again, take advantage of those sales. The merchants say they'll be able to figure out just how well they did. In about 2-3 weeks, that's when they'll be able to figure out just how well the Christmas season was. Back to you, Kimberly.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Tom Castanotis reporting live from the Boynton Beach Mall. Shopping centers are using a lot of electricity, and this morning Florida Power and Light managers were watching to see if their openings would overload an already stressed power system. The word is good, though. FP&L says the worst of the crisis is over and power outages will no longer be rotated. For the past 2 days, FP&L has been unable to generate large amounts of electricity because of technical malfunctions. And because of weather troubles elsewhere, the company was unable to buy power. In effect, we were suffering from the really cold weather up north.
The state's 67 counties. So even though we were receiving temperatures here of 27, 28, there were areas in our system that were 0 and below with wind chill factors.
Gorney says some isolated transformers are still out, but he doesn't expect the massive problems to continue. It helps that schools are out and some businesses are not working at full capacity. A warning to boil tap water has been lifted for residents of West Palm Beach. The warning was issued after power outages disrupted the West Palm Beach water plant from purifying water. But tests came back this morning indicating drinking water is not contaminated. The chilly holiday weather ripped and tugged at shorelines throughout Florida, eroding precious beaches and state parks. At Jupiter Inlet Park, rough seas and winds have eaten away at the nearby roadway. Officials say they fear tonight's high tide will do more damage. The park will be closed at 5 p.m. as a precaution. A body found in a canal Christmas Day has been identified. Authorities say the victim of the one-car accident is 43-year-old Patricia Friends of Palm Beach Gardens. Her car was found about 3:30 yesterday afternoon, submerged in a canal off 68th Street in the Royal Palm acreage. Police believe the car plunged into the water on Christmas Eve. Today, police are investigating a Miami couple whose baby died from exposure to the cold. Authorities say the 7-week-old infant was left alone for nearly a day in an unheated apartment with open windows. Both parents say they left the house after an argument and thought the other was keeping an eye on their baby boy. They could face child abuse charges. In Florida, more than 24 people lost their lives on the road this Christmas season. The Florida Highway Patrol says 27 people were killed in holiday accidents over the weekend. Several of those accidents were related to the weather. With the Christmas holiday over today, the post office is swamped with mail of another kind. Tax forms. Today, the IRS is mailing out 107 million income tax return forms for 1989. Officials are telling senior citizens to ignore lines dealing with the supplemental Medicare premium. The premium funded the catastrophic health care program. That was repealed in late November, but the tax forms went to the printer before the premium was dropped. Still to come on Action News at noon, we'll talk with NBC network anchors Jane Pauley and Tom Brokaw on trends that shaped the 80s. That's when Action 5 News returns. Stay with us.
You're reaching deep inside, looking for the edge, driven by a dream to be better than the best. Home is where the heart is. You can see it all around you and it feels so right. Home is where the heart is. From the morning sunlight to the magic of the night. That's where the heart is.
Follow your heart. Come home to the Polo Club, Boca Raton.
I'm a member.
We're a member.
I'm 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 a member.
We're a member.
I'm a member.
We're a member.
These clients are all members of Mark Sturman's law family.
The Sturman family has been practicing law since 1953.
If you were injured in an accident, call me, Mark Sturman. We treat every client like they're our only client.
The law offices of Mark Sturman is like having a lawyer in your family.
It's 1964. The Beatles, Beach Boys, surfing, and the new Ford Mustang were popular. This is the 1990 Mustang. Many things have changed, but the Mustang is now 25 years old. And still nothing does what a Mustang does like a Mustang does it. At Sunrise Ford, we've got Mustangs with just the right color and features you want. After all these years, you owe it to yourself to have fun, and that's what the Mustang is, fun. If your car doesn't have this emblem on it, you probably pay too much, and you're not having all the fun you can have.
There is a feeling of loss in South Florida after news of the death of former New York Yankees Billy Martin. Martin was killed in a car accident near his home in Fenton, New York, after his truck slid on ice and went down an embankment. 61-year-old Martin was a passenger. The driver has been charged with drunk driving. The Yankees have trained in Fort Lauderdale for years, where Martin was known by many. Proof of death is being offered to any doubters who do not believe stories that former Romanian dictator Nicolae Ceausescu was executed. Romania's state television broadcast a videotape showing pictures of the bodies of Ceausescu and his wife after they fell before a firing squad. According to the new government, the two were killed because they were found guilty of several crimes, including genocide against the Romanian people. The people of Panama are trying to return to normal today, almost a week after U.S. troops invaded that country. At this hour, former Panamanian strongman Manuel Noriega is still holed up in the Vatican embassy in Panama. The United States and the Vatican have reached no agreement as to his fate. Today's Washington Post says President Bush has talked to Vatican embassy officials by telephone. There are also reports that Cuba is willing to accept Noriega. Meanwhile, a top aide to Noriega will be in court today in Miami. Luis Del Cid turned himself in to U.S. forces in Panama yesterday. Del Cid will be arraigned on charges of cocaine trafficking and money laundering. He was part of the same 1988 indictment, which also named Manuel Noriega and 3 other Panamanians on drug charges. Turning to weather right now, you say it's going to be good news. Warmer?
Well, it's, yeah, I would say warmer. I wouldn't say warm, but it is going to get back to the 60s today. And
That's good news.
May even feel like a heat wave tomorrow with the 70s.
Okay, his forecast is next.
Wednesday night, Palm Beach Kennel Club presents a special racing performance for the holidays. So come out Wednesday night and win what Santa didn't bring you.
Get on a winning track.
Did you hear? Grace is in the hospital.
Grace? No.
She's so worried.
What is it?
Oh, it's just tests. But she's worried about the hospital bills.
The last time I heard was in the hospital, it cost us $1,000. Even with our fancy insurance policy and Medicare.
It doesn't have to be this way. The Humana Gold Plus plan covers hospital stays and doctor visits.
And prescriptions. This one's going to cost $60 to refill.
The Humana Gold Plus plan covers prescriptions and vision care, too.
Hi, Mildred.
Hi, Betty. How are you?
I'm fine. Oh, fine now. I was in the hospital last week.
Yeah? How are you now?
Good.
We were just talking about how much hospitals can cost.
Oh, not with my Humana Gold Plus plan. I couldn't have been treated better, and I didn't pay a penny.
Really?
Well, I did spend $3.25 for magazines.
Oh, Betty.
Call now and find out why 1 million people belong to this and other Humana healthcare plans.
Is your maid a jealous person?
He's let himself into my apartment, gone through my mail, especially my phone bill, to see who I'm calling.
I have to call her practically every day.
Why stay with someone who doesn't trust you?
I want to have an opportunity to see if this is going to continue.
I hope that, things will change.
Why would someone spy on their mate?
Low self-esteem.
I guess I'm jealous of her ex-boyfriend.
See how jealousy destroys relationships on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Oprah, Tuesday at 4 on TV5.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is a very nice afternoon in South Florida. Temperatures are beginning to recover from the record-breaking early season cold wave, the coldest weather we've ever seen here in the month of December, at least on the record books. It looks like that is all beginning to kind of mellow out now. 37 degrees was our temperature at 6:30 this morning. It is now all the way up to 58. The barometer quite high and rising at 30.23, and the winds out of the west at 5 miles per hour. Let's go to our overnight low, another chilly one, 36 degrees, and there was scattered frost in the area. The record high today, 87 degrees, the record low, 30 in that big cold wave in 1983. Here's the satellite photograph taken yesterday, and we could see that there were a lot of clouds over the Gulf, also over the Atlantic, but clear skies here. During the day today, the wind has shifted to the west, and some of those clouds from the Gulf have come over here and given us a little bit of cloudiness, but it shouldn't be anything we can't handle. 56 in Vero Beach right now, 59 at Boca Raton. Up at Okeechobee City, it's 55, 56 at Clewiston and at Belle Glade. Winds are generally out of the west at about 5 to 12 miles per hour. Now, seas are still pretty rough at the beach. Boca Raton reporting 2 to 4 foot seas, 4 to 6 feet up at Reef State Park, and up in the Treasure Coast, we're getting seas reporting about 3 to 5 feet. So be careful if you're going to be going into the beach today. It is pretty rough, but it is good for surfing because the wind is offshore, and that's giving a nice curl to those waves. 7 to 14 mile an hour westerly winds during the afternoon. Expect high temperatures, Vero 59, 62 thereabouts. At West Palm Beach, Belle Glade about 62, and 60 should do it for a high at Okeechobee. Partly to mostly sunny skies this afternoon should be real nice. But the jet stream, the high-level winds still diving down over Florida, so that's going to preclude any really rapid warm-up. High temperatures today, still cool here to very, very cold up in the northeast. Another storm system is moving through there. It's snowing at Philadelphia right now. Over at Pittsburgh, they're having light snow, and it's really getting cold behind this storm. It's only 11 degrees at Chicago right now. Here comes another weather system moving into the Midwest. So for the weather map today, Arctic air again moving into the Great Lakes. Sunny but cool weather here in South Florida. Let's take a look at weather conditions this afternoon around the country and see those temperatures. They're finally beginning to moderate in most places. Tomorrow's Wednesday already, and we're going to see one weather system moving off into the Maritimes of Canada. Very cold in the northeast tomorrow with windy conditions. Another batch of light snow moving through the Great Lakes states down into the Middle Atlantic. Places like Kentucky and West Virginia picking up maybe 1 to 2 inches of snow. It is going to be sunny here in South Florida, a little warmer after another chilly night, and there's no really cold air behind this cold front. It's just kind of mild back there. So things are looking good weather-wise, finally moderating temperatures. Here it is for this afternoon. It'll be partly sunny to mostly sunny at times. It'll be milder, 59 to 64 for the highs. The wind out of the west at 7 to 14 miles an hour. Mostly clear and chilly again tonight, 37 to 45. I don't think there'll be any frost tonight, though. Northwest winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly sunny and mild tomorrow, 65 to that magic 70-degree mark. A west wind at 6 to 12 miles per hour. A westerly wind for boaters today, 6 to 12 knots. Remember, seas still running about 4 to 6 feet at the beaches, especially north of Palm Beach. Inland waters mostly smooth. High tide 6:27 tonight. The surf at 69 and the sunset at 5:35 and setting at 7:07. So it looks like a warming trend. And
I won't have
weather.
to scrape ice off my windshield then.
Well,
I have had to do that for the last 2 days.
It's been unusual. It's been a record-breaking cold wave, but I think it's finally beginning to mellow out.
Okay, thanks, Art.
Okay, Kim.
Still to come, Mr. Food has a great recipe for your Christmas leftovers.
Now at the Lazy Boy Showcase shops of Palm Beach County. Until our doors close December 31st, our gigantic store-wide 13th month sale is on. Lazy Boy recliners, your choice $2.99. Leather finesse starting at $4.99. Sleep sofas, all sizes. Queen size starting at $4.99. We are overstocked. Hurry! Come in now for drastically reduced prices. Our 13th month sale ends December 31st at the Lazy Boy Showcase Shops of Palm Beach County, North Boca Raton, Lake Worth, and Palm Beach Gardens.
Dad, it wasn't my coat that made a mistake. It's not my fault.
It's never your fault. The missing money and jewelry weren't your fault. The bad grades aren't your fault. Doesn't anything matter to you? Your mother and I can't leave you alone for a second. Why are you doing this to us?
This won't solve anything. Look, I know this kid. He has a drug problem. Get him some help.
We've tried everything.
If you haven't called Anana New, you haven't tried everything. Anana New, help when you need it the most. 1-800-368-6222.
Did you know if you've been hurt in an accident, you want experienced professional legal help? At Fetterman & Associates, we've helped thousands of accident victims. We've handled accident cases for more than 15 years. You can talk about your accident case for free. And if you can't come to one of our convenient offices in North Palm Beach, Lake Worth, and Fort Pierce, our new mobile office can come to you. Call 1-800-330-HELP.
Remember, at Fetterman & Associates, our clients come first.
Tomorrow night, there will be a very special show here on TV5 on NBC. It will trace the important events of the past decade, which is coming to a very dramatic ending. Last week, our Ken Earhart talked to the hosts of the new show.
Well, we see them in our living rooms and our kitchens every morning and every night. Theirs are the faces we turn to in times of trouble and in times of triumph as well. Now they'll be hosting a primetime special called The 80s, a look back at the decade past. Please welcome from NBC News, Tom Brokaw and Jane Pauley. Hi.
Hi, Ken.
Hey, look at me up here with the A-team. This will be the highlight of my decade. Listen, go ahead.
Ken, we're real pleased to be able to appear with you.
Well,
we called our mothers and fathers and told them to watch.
Right.
They got the VCRs running.
Right.
Okay, this is an interesting concept. The show is called The 80s, Wednesday night at 10 o'clock on TV5.
It was 10 years in the making.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I find it interesting because as news people, we chronicle the day-to-day events and the phases that we go through in our lives, and I wonder how you go about compiling a list of these things to look back on in a show like this.
Well, we've been describing this as a form of journalistic triage. We've been deciding who shall live and who shall die. And, of course, in the closing days of the decade, there have been so many momentous events that the people who made the mistake of being newsworthy in the early part of the decade are getting brushed aside a little more swiftly than they might have been in another time. But it has been a very difficult selection process because, in fact, there have been so many historic events.
Politically, things are just happening so quickly. We've seen, for instance, the Soviet Union go from President Reagan's so-called evil empire to at least a thaw of the Cold War. And, of course, the events just recently, as you mentioned, now in Romania, we've seen Czechoslovakia, Poland, East Germany. Things are really hot, and it's been the latter part of the decade, even the latter part of the last year.
You know, Tom Brokaw has been to most of those places you've mentioned, and half a dozen or so more just in the last 12 months.
I know that you talk to a lot of social and political scientists, these types of experts in the field. Did they give any indication of what the 80s is leading to in the 90s?
Well, Tom Wolfe, who is about as good a social historian as I know, the man who wrote maybe the definitive novel in America in the 1980s, The Bonfire of the Vanities, said he believes that in the 1990s we'll have a return to morality and to fundamental values. There will be a kind of retreat from the bacchanal attitude that we've had for the last 10 years of accumulation of wealth just for the sake of accumulating wealth, greed, and the ostentatious display, I suppose, of your riches.
Well, the name of the show, again, is The 80s, at Wednesday night at 10 o'clock here on TV5. We wish both of you and your families a Happy New Year. Tom, we'll look forward to seeing you on Nightly News. And Jane, we'll look forward to seeing you on primetime television.
That's right.
And
Thank you, Ken.
We very much look forward to that. Thanks, folks.
When we return, we'll preview a new film. It's a love and adventure story that's a big hit at the box office.
Say hello to Tomasello throughout the year, and you'll say only people live here. Tomasello Pest Control. Say hello.
Marlene Rizzo, before 140 pounds. Marlene after losing 26 pounds. What's her secret? Doctor's quick weight loss.
After my accident, I couldn't exercise and I couldn't live off shakes. So I called Quick Weight Loss and lost 26 pounds without exercise and without feeling hungry. Sometimes there was too much food to eat.
Get 6 weeks, just $66. 6 weeks, $66 at Doctor's Quick Weight Loss Centers. Call now, toll free, 1-800-940-SLIM.
Looking for all your holiday trimmings? Visit Southern Ornamentals in the beautiful Waterside Plaza for all your needs. Choose from a wide variety of silk flowers and party goods, but don't go away. Nestled in the courtyard is Southern Ornamentals Costume Shop, Toyland, and your own Christmas supermarket. Trim your tree from their wondrously trimmed trees, lights, decorations. Stuff those stockings, fill those packages from special sales now going on at Southern Ornamentals, the Waterside Plaza of Lake Worth on the corner of 10th Avenue North and Florida Mango. Open Monday through Friday 10 to 8, Saturday 10 to 6, and Sunday noon to 6.
Director Steven Spielberg seems to bring hit after hit to the big screen. Now he's back with a new film, a love story called Always. Here's a preview from entertainment reporter Sharon Nash.
Tanker 57 to Tanker Base.
Talk to me, Pete.
I may have overestimated my fuel just a tad.
Richard Dreyfuss is an ace pilot who risks his life putting out forest fires from the air. Holly Hunter plays the woman who loves him. When his plane goes down, it would appear that their love is over. But in Steven Spielberg's new movie, audiences will find out that true love lasts always.
I'm dead?
That's right.
What was special about it to you?
Just the core of the film, what it says about letting go and when to let go, and what it says about saying all those wonderful things. If you feel them, you should say them. Don't hold anything back.
It's a film Spielberg has wanted to make for 10 years, based on the 1943 film A Guy Named Joe. The story follows Pete Sandage's adventures in the afterlife when he returns to Earth to serve as a budding pilot's guardian angel. What his astro guide, played by Academy Award winner Audrey Hepburn, neglects to tell him, however, is that the pilot and his lady love are destined to be together.
That's my girl, pal.
Always is just the latest believable fantasy brought to the screen by what the film's co-stars describe as the world's consummate filmmaker.
I think he's just a visionary. I don't think that anybody can make a more beautiful movie than he can.
I don't know what the Spielberg style is. He sure makes you look good.
You do a picture with Steven Spielberg and it's an international event.
In addition to plenty of notoriety, these stars also received a brand new Mazda Miata, courtesy of their director.
And there'll be a reunion. There'll be a Miata reunion every 5 or 6 years.
Richard Dreyfuss has had plenty of Spielberg reunions. Always is the third film they've done together. And if the director has his way, it won't be the last. I'm Sharon Nash reporting.
Next, Mr. Food shows us a simple way to prepare delicious holiday leftovers. But first, let's take a look at Wall Street. Stay with us.
Value. Sometimes that can be a difficult word to understand. It's not necessarily the lowest price, but it does mean the best quality for the price you pay. Value is something the folks at Badcock Home Furnishing Centers take pride in bringing to their customers. Badcock's more than 250 store buying power makes it possible. Value. You can count on it at your nearby Badcock store.
Where you buy with confidence from the people who care.
Famous Lion Country Safari, West Palm Beach.
What should you do with all those dull holiday leftovers? Mr. Food shows us how to make a tasty croquette filled with holiday goodies.
With all the Christmas leftovers, we can enjoy parts of Christmas dinner for a few days. Not only the turkey or the ham or roast beef, but some of those other items that we think are too small to bother with, like our veggies. We've got a few scoops of mashed potatoes, right? Not enough for everybody, but chop up some of that leftover turkey with it, and some of the peppers and onions from the leftover salad. Mix in an egg to bind it all together. Make it into pancakes, and we have turkey hash pancakes. But even with our other veggies, whether they're cooked or raw, that leftover broccoli or the green beans, they work super in pancakes. I mean, chop them, mix them with some onion, flour, eggs, baking powder, and you've turned what could have gone to waste into what could be another holiday special. And it's so easy. I mean, flour or breadcrumbs and a couple of eggs can work wonders. Now, I've got the recipe for these if you'd like. You know, just send a self-addressed stamped envelope marked veggie pancakes. Yup, send it to me here at the station, and we'll get them back to you. Call it your extra holiday. It'll get you some extra, ooh, it's so good.
Coming up tonight on Action 5 News beginning at 5:30, details on your 1989 federal income tax returns. It's in the mail today. Plus, South Florida tries to recover from power problems. And Treasure Coast growers assess their losses following a series of cold weather days. Those stories and more coming up on Action News beginning at 5:30. Good news in the weather department, though. You said it's going to get warmer.
It is. Its temperatures are gradually heading for normal. Not today, but it looks like we could get into the low 70s tomorrow.
Okay, that's the news for noon. Thanks for watching.